Alrighty folks, I want to welcome you back to another video from Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. Want to start out with the whole hoopla at the beginning again. Head on over, subscribe, hit the bell, watch the video, share the links, let people know I'm out there. And thank you for tuning in. So this one's probably going to be a little short video because this is more for the gaming high-end performance systems. And again, there are some variables here between high-end systems and low-end home user systems. And when I say low-end, does not mean low garbage machines. A lot of machines are very good today, have a lot of power. Have a video on my little box here that I use for a lot of castings and stuff like that. Captures, it's a Celeron. Mentioned in the old days, I would never use a Celeron. Mentioned on that one, there is no power supply in that little computer. It's all run off the power brick. So, knowing all of this and understanding all of that, understanding your power supply. I have lots of videos on power supplies. But where this varies due to high-end, high-performance systems, needs, resources that you're going to need is really going to reflect on your power supply. So this is why I want to do this specific video, because if you're looking at building a computer or buying a computer, this is something you're really going to be able to need to know and be aware of and watch out for. Last video, I talked about integrated video cards, add-on video cards. Power supplies are critical in this layout, because if you have an integrated that's on the motherboard that pulls the power from the motherboard and provides out, usually you are fine. Which one was it? This older one. These are very old video cards. But why I use these for a presentation is I can see all of everything that's in there. New ones have heat sinks and everything that cover that. Plus, I don't have a $4,000 video card here just to do these kind of presentations and videos. So, the one key factor between modern video cards, I won't even consider them modern, between internal, integrated, and add-on cards is your power. This old one is fairly old, and this one does have where we used to put a power. So this isn't something new. For the higher end cards, you need to add power. And you're going to be going from a 400, 500 watt power supply to 1,000 to 1,200 or more. So this is the main factor with the power supplies that everybody needs to know of. There's been a lot of issues with the connectors overheating, the jumpers, the cross cables, the adapters, all the little weird things that are going on. Some of them, the older generation, needed 3 connectors. Now they have a one where you hook them all into an adapter that plugs in. So there's some variables there that you really want to watch out for, especially dealing with that much power, that much wattage. You might want to really be aware of this issue. I know they've been trying to address it. They've had all kinds of things out, special mod cables and special things. Goes back to watch some of these videos I have about power supplies, about fixed cable, modular cables that come out, connect. Not all of them are interchangeable. Not all of them are the same pin structure. There's a lot of things there when you get into high-end video cards that relate to your power supply. Understanding that and knowing that that maybe you bought something and you bought something with an 800 watt because you thought, hey, I'm going to upgrade. Well, you're going to be limited to how much you can upgrade because of an 800 watt power supply instead of a 1200 watt power supply. You might end up having to change your power supply due to you want to put in a very big video card. And then you get into your whole case. I have a whole video explaining the case. I have all these wormhole, rabbit hole subject videos that have to do with things like this. You might have to change your case because now, what size is that video card? What size is that power supply? There's a lot of factors that come into it, and this is why I'm doing this video basically on the power supply due to what video card or what graphics you want to run. Here's one of the things that they used to do in the old days is they would run multiple video cards. Honestly, I don't know how you really do that today. I've seen some configurations, I've seen some YouTubers do it. And why I say that is because of the wattage it's going to pull. Is something astronomical that really I would have to do a lot of research to figure out how to do that really safely. I know they've kind of gotten away from it with this newer series cards. The older series cards, you used to be able to put two of them in the slots and bridge them with a connector. And I did not get much information on what power supply they're running. So this is another reason why I did the video, because here I've seen the videos of them doing that, but they don't specify really one of the critical pieces of information you really need to know. How are they powering that? I've seen videos where they're running two separate power supplies. One just for that extra card. But in a practical workstation, you can't do that. So I can understand benchmarking, testing, and doing that type of stuff. You can jerry-rig, you can reconfigure to test and do things, but in a real world situation, workstation, high performance situation on a workstation or your gaming rig, how you'd actually pull that off. How much wattage you're going to actually need. Maybe you need to actually buy a whole special case that has two separate power supplies. They have them. They have server-based ones that have two separate power supplies. Redundant power supplies. All this kind of stuff that maybe can function on that. But this is really why I wanted to sum up the power supply thing. Because honestly, I don't know too many people that are really going to go that route. To want that much graphics and power and performance. Yeah, it's fun to play with and it's fun to configure but in real life, real situations, I don't know. Not to mention cooling and everything else that comes into that. Because if you're running two monster video cards, that's going to produce a lot of heat. If you're running multiple power supplies, multiple video cards, that's going to produce a lot of heat. Venting, understanding all of that factors, how those get placed in there. Because you obviously can't mount two power supplies with the fans on the bottom on top of each other. You're going to have one, they're going to have to draw in this way. How your case is laid out, all of that type of stuff. So this is some of the stuff I wanted to bring out because I don't hear anybody talking about it. I see what they're trying to push, what they're trying to show you, but how do you do this in real life? Yes, it's great to see it. Oh yeah, you can do this, but how do you actually fully implement this? and to be aware, because you see people doing this online and you may think, oh yeah, it's real easy, I can go do that, I can slap that in there in my computer that I have pre-built. No, probably not. Your power supply will not handle it. Then you're going to go look at, okay, how much is a new power supply and what am I going to need? Well, you just spent $6,000 on video cards. Well, you're going to be spending more. So this is what I wanted to sum up on this, because this really relates to your video card and your video card choices that would then affect your power supply. This doesn't have to do with what your power supply is to your board and all of that. I have all those other videos. This is directly power supply due to your high performance type video cards. And again, when you get into higher performance, you might be talking higher CPUs and higher things like that that might use other voltages. Knowing what the CPU you have will affect the voltage. There are different voltage CPUs. So knowing that is also a major factor. I did not bring that up on the other one because when you're talking about integrated video, that's going to be a factor. So I think that's good enough for this. This explains enough of what I've seen, not referenced, not really explained, other than I'm running multiple power supplies. Well, it's sitting on a desk, plugged into an open case just to run. That's not real world. That's not practical to me. How you would actually do that, I don't know. When you have 3 Molex connectors, not Molex, but 3 connectors to a graphics card, and then you're going to have to add another 3. To me, that's a lot of voltage. That's a whole nother question. And again, I don't have benchmarking tools. I don't have all of those type of bench setups to really test that. I don't have a lot of money to spend to go out and buy this and try to test this. Hopefully one day I'll get there. But as for 2024, I have no real practical way of testing that. But when you get into high-end stuff, and again, I'm not using high-end stuff. There's very little need that I know of people that I work with or do anything with that needs that high-end. There's a lot of people that have it because they want it, not because they need it. Those are 2 different variables. I have videos on that between the wants and needs. They're completely different. So that's why I wanted to do this video, because of the want, the need, also is a factor. Because you want it, you want it, you want it, doesn't mean you need it. And to be aware of what the outcome's going to be. Alrighty, thank you so much. I hope this is helpful for people to understand, to make sure you don't get caught in that rabbit hole and don't get caught spending thousands of dollars trying to do something that you're probably not going to need, or if you really do need it, to be aware of the cost of this. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching.